No, this takes a minute to zero. Kid with a real boxer, a real world champion boxer. That the only other time he was in for the fans to get mad with that was against Fury's Tommy Fury, but it wasn't that level, obviously, and all the size things you just rightfully pointed out. But he would have been in there with, I mean, it seemed crazy.
Gervonta Tank Davis has shocked fans with his new look. Before his possible fight with Jake Paul, known for his power and compact body, Tank has taken his training to another level. He's gained a lot of muscle, and boxing fans can't stop talking about it. Recent gym clips show a bigger and stronger Tank, making many believe he's preparing to match Jake Paul's size and power head-on.
We were yelling so much about him fighting someone, fight somebody your size. His next opponent is, by far, the most credentialed guy ever fought actively in his prime. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. He fights at 135 pounds.
2-0 prepare for Jake Paul. Tank has turned his training into a full battle. He's mixing intense strength workouts, heavy sparring, and non-stop conditioning to support his new size. Reports say he's using more weightlifting, especially compound exercises, to build his upper body and core. At the same time, he's still working on his speed and footwork to stay agile. Tank is also sparring with larger fighters, even heavyweights, to get used to facing bigger opponents like Jake.
Yeah.
This Santa Cruz I hit it down.
Big down, let it burn, baby, let it burn.
Mind over matter, son. Mind over matter.
This is the blues on.
Ain't nobody doing no shit like this. Come in the desert. Nigga trying to stay away from the desert. He come in the desert.
When the night
Camera.
is cold.
Oh, see.
Say light, camera, action.
And fighting for the
Light, action, cat.
Come on, Tank. Come on, Tank. Come out. Come out there. Yeah. Come on, let me just see. But dig down in there. Get down in there.
10 seconds.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
This final thing.
Remember that gun on it? They got that gun on that tank at the time.
When the night is cold and low.
He ain't gonna keep you here late tonight. Good job.
It's been hard being away from my daughter. You know, she actually here, she sleep. Just being away from her, it was a little touchy, but I know when I'm up, I guess, I know that I got pay-per-view. I know I'm fighting a tough opponent, so really I know how to lock in. I know how to shy away from everything. I know how to, I know how to fool around.
Nigga got ringworm.
I said, team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll finish it. He'll stay over there with a ball back. No, we can't go on TV looking like that. Nah.
But Jake Paul is naturally a much heavier fighter. The fight rules allow maximum weight of 195 pounds, with both using 12-ounce gloves. Tank usually fights at 135 pounds, meaning he has to face a huge size and strength gap. Many critics worry that gaining too much muscle could slow him down and reduce the explosive speed. That made him such a dangerous fighter.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis fight got moved to Miami.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but
Jake has
Jake
better
Paul
boxing.
now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
I mean,
Gervonta
it's
is
just.
fucking sick.
I mean, yeah, no, but dude,
Did you
Jake.
ever watch his highlights?
Jake can
He's
crack,
nasty,
man.
bro.
He's so sick.
He's
I love
nasty.
that guy, bro.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers, and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're going to do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're going to spot us some pounds. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference. The boxing boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Tank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Hank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
UFC President Dana White spoke openly about the potential fight. He said not many people are excited for it, but admitted it could help Tank's career. Davis has faced negative headlines and some setbacks recently, so Jake's big money offer gives him a chance to get attention again. White said even if fans mock the fight, it could still help Tank financially and publicly. However, he believes Jake's height, reach, and strength could give him a big advantage. Paul might use his size to pressure Tank, hold him in clinches, and block his attacks. White added that while Tank is a great technical boxer, those skills might not work the same way against a much bigger man like Jake.
Is picking Jake Paul to beat Gervonta Davis. This is not a fight that I'm excited for at all. I would rather have Gervonta Davis fighting in a real boxing match against the likes of Lamont Roach, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Emmanuel Navarrete, anybody that is in the 135-pound division and around. That's where I want to see Gervonta Davis fight. However, we live in a world where everybody is trying to do things as big as possible. And the biggest fights possible right now, unfortunately for the sport of boxing, is an exhibition fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. So I do like it for this reason, though. I like it because it is allowing Gervonta Davis to have a fight that is going to be big and that the mainstream media is going to have to cover, the mainstream media outside the world of boxing. Gervonta Davis has been, without a doubt, blocked, having venues blocked, having fighters, having other promoters paying fighters away to go different directions from Gervonta Davis. So Gervonta Davis was in a bit of a hole. And he gets an opportunity to fight Jake Paul for $200 million or whatever. I don't mind it at all. As long as Gervonta Davis comes back to the world of boxing after he gets done with this, hey man, you got your money, no worries. But you gotta love Dana White having the audacity to pick Jake Paul in this fight and says something to the effect that, hey, he was talking to Logan Paul and said, hey, when you were fighting Floyd, you know, there was this, you're a gigantic guy, big size difference. There was a time when Floyd Mayweather Jr. hit, had an overhand right that landed flush on Logan Paul.
Bare-knuckle fighter and former UFC star Mike Perry didn't hold back either. He called the potential fight a cash grab, saying Tank is chasing money instead of real boxing challenges. Perry questioned whether Tank still has the same hunger and drive that made him a champion. He even suggested that Jake Paul's motivation and work ethic might now be stronger than Tank's. His comments started a big debate among fans about whether Tank still fights for glory or just for fame and money.
Jake is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
During their face-off, many noticed that Tank Davis looked a bit uncomfortable, which is unusual for him. Observers saw his tense posture, limited eye contact, and forced calmness. Some think the huge size difference between him and Jake Paul might have shaken his confidence. Standing next to the much larger Jake, Tank seemed to realize the challenge ahead. Some fans believe he was just staying calm, but others saw it as a sign of doubt.
Tank looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face off this Tank done. He gets their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant to be an insult. It is meant to take away from a potentially glorious moment for Jake. But where the compliment comes is it means the public believes he's gonna win. That's what it means.
Boxing expert Teddy Atlas also shared his opinion. He joked that Tank is so much smaller, he might need a ladder just to reach Jake's chin. Atlas said the size difference between them is far too big to make sense. He compared it to Canelo Alvarez fighting Terence Crawford. But even that wouldn't be as extreme as this. Atlas believes Tank's short reach and smaller frame make this fight more of a show than a fair sporting contest.
Things, right? They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff. Particulars should be in the contract. But I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, you know, Jake might be doing a dance. You know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. But we'll get into that more later. The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but you know, a little different. The size difference was, I mean, it was eye catching, jaw dropping, and it made me think. And I'm gonna ask Richie, our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvelous job. I'm gonna ask him because I know he's an expert in this area. But it reminded me of one of the Rocky movies where they had the face where they did the wrestling thing with Rocky and Hulk Hogan, aka Thunderlips. He was Thunderlips back there. And I thought I had it right, and it was confirmed to me it's Rocky 3.